Brought to you by GTA. We start with you.
Is this really just a child that came before you, and no matter how hard it was and how much she didn't want to be here, she told you her story, and she did tell you what happened on the night of July 26, 2018.
The night that officers arrested alleged perpetrator Louis Vargas for sexually assaulting a 9-year-old female who was his stepdaughter at the time. He faces 5 counts of both first and second-degree criminal sexual conduct, in which Assistant Attorney General Christine Tenorio makes her final arguments for the jury to find him guilty on all charges beyond a reasonable doubt.
But when you're really asking yourself whose theory is more reasonable in this case, is it reasonable that this 9-year-old had it in her mental capacity to think of this grandmaster plan at 10:30 p.m. At night on some random day, that she knew what towel to tell the police to get, that she knew that somehow Mr. Vargas had previously ejaculated on the towel and she knew that there was evidence there, that she knew somehow that Mr. Vargas ejaculated on his shorts and was just walking around in the same shorts that he ejaculated on, and that she knew how to point this out to the police, all while being naked in bed as her mom is there. You have to really ask yourself, what is more reasonable in this case? And the government's position is that our theory is the more reasonable one.
On the defense, representing Vargas are co-counsel's public defender Stephen Hattori and assistant public defender Teresa Rojas. In their closing arguments, the defense team argues that this is not based on theory but facts in relation to the DNA evidence, further pointing out that there were inconsistencies and contradictions between the testimonies and the allegations, and says it was all a clear product of coaching.
You know, when there's a fire, right, firefighters look for the smoke. Whether it's charcoal, tongue-in-tongue, trash, or yard debris, fire produces smoke. In this case, the allegations are like a fire. All fire produces smoke. In this case, there is no smoke. And the reason why is there's no fire. After you deliberate, weigh all the evidence, we are confident you will agree that there is no smoke. This case basically eventually boils down to credibility of a witness.
In the government's rebuttal, AAG Tenorio says at the end of the day, the defense theory is that DNA exonerated the defendant, but the prosecution's theory is that the DNA is consistent with every witness's testimony. Further, Tenorio reminds the jury to be careful with interpretations and to rely on their personal notes based on the evidence and testimony that was presented during trial. Vargas faces 25 years to life imprisonment.